6 months passed since the battle that would later be known as the miracle at Neptune's orbit. The story had spread throughout the galaxy, traveling faster than any ship could fly. The species that had been dismissed as the primitive humans was suddenly viewed with new respect and in many cases fear. Captain Olivia Bennett now stood on the bridge of Earth's newest vessel, the Ascendant. The ship was larger than the Defiant Dawn, with more advanced systems, but it maintained the same outward appearance of simplicity. The strategy of deception had proven effective. Why change it? Susan Miller had been promoted to chief engineer of the Earth Defense Fleet. Her innovations with the quantum displacement engine had revolutionized space travel. She had improved the efficiency, reduced the power requirements, and increased the stability. Humanity now possessed technology that other species could only dream of. Catherine Walsh had become the head of the quantum physics division. Her theories continued to push the boundaries of what was possible. Her work had applications beyond weapons, beyond travel. Her understanding of space-time had opened doors to new forms of communication, new ways of seeing the universe. The three women had changed everything. Not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. Captain Bennett looked at the main screen of the Ascendant. A diplomatic vessel approached Earth, bearing representatives from the Krall-Vorn Empire. This time there were no threats, only a request for dialogue and a formal peace treaty. "Are you ready for this?" asked Admiral Rodriguez, standing beside Olivia. "As ready as I can be," replied Olivia. "This is not what I trained for. I am a soldier, not a diplomat." Rodriguez smiled. "Sometimes the best diplomats are those who understand the cost of war." She said, "You showed the Krall-Vorn what humans are capable of. Now you will show them who we truly are." The alien vessel docked with the orbital defense station where the peace talks would take place. Security was tight. The humans took no chances despite the peaceful nature of the visit. Supreme Admiral Zex Tour led the Krall-Vorn delegation. His yellow eyes showed caution as he stepped onto the station. His manner had changed since their last encounter. The arrogance was gone, replaced by wary respect. "Captain Bennett," he said with a formal bow. "We meet again under better circumstances." "Indeed, Supreme Admiral," replied Olivia. "Welcome to Earth." The peace talks began in the main conference room. Representatives from Earth sat on one side of the table, the Krall-Vorn on the other. But they were not the only ones present. The room was filled with observers from a dozen other alien civilizations. All had requested permission to attend the historic meeting. Humanity, once considered insignificant on the galactic stage, was now the focus of intense interest. Admiral Rodriguez opened the proceedings. "6 months ago our peoples met in conflict," she said. "Today we meet in peace. The Krall-Vorn Empire has requested these talks and Earth has agreed to listen. We hope to establish a relationship based on mutual respect and understanding." Supreme Admiral Zex Tour spoke next. "My people have existed for thousands of your Earth years," he began. "We have conquered many worlds. We have built an empire that spans dozens of star systems. We believe this made us superior. We were wrong." He looked directly at Olivia as he continued. "We underestimated humanity. We saw your ships and thought them primitive. We scanned your technology and believed it inferior. We judged by appearances and we were deceived. This is a lesson the Krall-Vorn will not forget." The talks continued for days. The terms of the treaty were negotiated point by point. The Krall-Vorn agreed to recognize Earth's sovereignty and its claim to the solar system. They promised never to attack human vessels or colonies. Earth, in turn, agreed not to use the quantum displacement technology against the Krall-Vorn Empire as long as peace was maintained. Throughout the negotiations, Olivia noticed how the other alien observers watched and listened. They took notes. They asked questions. They studied the humans with new interest. Some appeared frightened, others curious. A few seemed eager to establish their own relationships with Earth. On the final day of the talks before the treaty was signed, Catherine Walsh approached Olivia with concern. "They will come for the technology. You know," she said. "Everyone will. The Krall-Vorn, other species, corporations, individuals. They all want what we have created." Olivia nodded. "I know. But what choice did we have? We needed to defend Earth. We needed to show strength. Catherine sighed. I don't regret what we did, she said. The science is sound. The application saved our planet. But I worry about what comes next. What happens when everyone has this technology? When quantum displacement becomes as common as fusion power? Olivia had no answer. She had asked herself the same questions many times. The quantum displacement engine had saved Earth, but it had also opened Pandora's box. There was no going back. The peace treaty was signed with great ceremony. The Krall-Vorn representatives pressed their hands to a special document prepared for the occasion. The human delegates, including Olivia, Admiral Rodriguez, and key government officials, signed with traditional pens, a symbolic moment. Enemies becoming, if not friends, then at least not enemies. After the signing, Supreme Admiral Zex Tour approached. Olivia privately, Captain Bennett. He said, I must ask you something. The technology your ship used. How did you develop it? How did you hide it from our scans? Olivia smiled. The beauty of Project Prometheus isn't just the technology itself, she said. It's the philosophy behind it. Sometimes the most powerful advantage is the one your adversary doesn't know you possess. The alien studied her with his 4 yellow eyes. It seems humans have much to teach the galaxy, he said. We thought ourselves advanced, but you showed us that appearances can be deceiving. That is a lesson worth learning. As the Krall-Vorn delegation prepared to leave Earth, more alien vessels arrived. Representatives from the Galactic Council, the Terroan Alliance, the Vega Confederation, all requested meetings with Earth leaders. Some offered trade agreements, others military alliances. A few simply wanted to establish diplomatic relations. Earth was no longer an isolated planet on the edge of the galaxy. It was now a power to be reckoned with, a species that had defeated the mighty Krall-Vorn armada, a civilization with technology that defied understanding. Olivia watched from the observation deck as ships came and went. The traffic around Earth had increased tenfold in the past months. Alien vessels of all shapes and sizes orbited the planet. Some came in peace, some came to spy, some came to learn. But all came because of what had happened at Neptune's orbit, because of what the Defiant Dawn had done. Susan joined her bringing coffee, as had become their tradition. The engineer looked tired but satisfied. Her work on the new fleet was progressing well. The Ascendant was just the first of many ships that would carry the quantum displacement engine. Strange, isn't it, said Susan. How? One battle can change everything, Olivia nodded. 6 months ago, we were just another species struggling to be noticed. Now we are the center of attention. Everyone wants to meet us. Everyone wants to know our secrets. Susan sipped her coffee. Do you ever regret it? She asked. The deception. The battle. What we did. Olivia considered the question. No, she said finally. They came to conquer us. They threatened our planet. They left us no choice. We did what we had to do to survive. And now, said Catherine, joining them. We live with the consequences. The 3 women stood in silence watching the alien ships orbit Earth, each thinking about the future, each wondering what would come next. The next day, Captain Olivia Bennett received new orders. The Ascendant would embark on a mission of exploration and diplomacy, visiting key worlds throughout the galaxy, showing the flag as the old Navy would have said, demonstrating Earth's new capabilities while extending offers of friendship and cooperation. Susan Miller would continue her work on Earth, improving the technology, training new engineers, ensuring that humanity's advantage remained secure. Catherine Walsh would lead a new research initiative exploring applications of quantum theory beyond displacement, beyond weapons, beyond travel. As Olivia prepared to leave Earth, she stood one last time in the memorial garden, dedicated to those who had served on the Defiant Dawn. A simple monument had been erected bearing the names of the crew and the date of the battle. The ship itself was now in a museum, its mission complete, its place in history secured. Admiral Rodriguez found her there. They say the true test of victory is what you do after the fighting ends, she said. How you use the peace you have. Olivia nodded. thinking about her upcoming mission, about the future of Earth, about the responsibility they all carried. The quantum displacement engine had changed everything, but technology alone was not enough. What mattered was how it was used, for conquest or for exploration, for war or for peace. The legacy of the Defiant Dawn would echo across the stars for generations to come. Never judge by appearances, for within the seemingly primitive might lie the power to reshape reality itself. But there was more to the story than that. More to humanity's journey among the stars, as Captain Olivia Bennett boarded the Ascendant to begin her mission. She carried with her not just the technology that had changed the balance of power, but the wisdom to use it well. The lesson of the Trojan horse was not just about deception, it was about intelligence, about strategy, about understanding your enemy and yourself. The aliens had laughed at a primitive human vessel until it tore through their armada. Now they would learn that there was more to humanity than just surprising technology. There was courage and compassion, determination and vision, the qualities that had allowed. The Defiant Dawn approached Earth 3 days after the battle. The blue planet looked peaceful from space, showing no signs of the danger it had faced or the technological revolution it had created. The ship moved into orbit and prepared for the debriefing that would follow. Fleet Admiral Maya Rodriguez waited in the main conference room of the Orbital Defense Station. Her dark hair streaked with gray showed her years of service. She had risen through the ranks through determination and vision 5 years ago when Catherine Walsh had first presented her theories on quantum displacement. Rodriguez had recognized the potential. She had diverted significant resources to the project, despite opposition from the Defense Council. The Defiant Dawn docked smoothly with the station. The senior crew disembarked, led by Commander Olivia Bennett. They looked tired but proud. Their mission had succeeded beyond all expectations. Admiral Rodriguez greeted them with formal salutes, then broke protocol to embrace Olivia. The two women had worked closely on Project Prometheus from the beginning. They had taken enormous risks, both professional and personal, to make it happen. Commander Bennett said Rodriguez with a smile, "You and your crew have made history." Olivia nodded. "We had some help," she said, gesturing to Susan and Catherine beside her. "The real heroes are the ones who created the technology, the engineers and scientists who made the impossible possible." They moved to the conference room, where large screens showed images of the battle captured by observation satellites. The destruction of the Kral-Vorn Armada was documented in detail, the quantum field rippling outward from the Defiant Dawn, the alien ships breaking apart, the command ship fleeing. Other military officers and government officials waited in the room. They all stood as Olivia and her team entered. The mood was celebratory, but serious. Everyone understood the significance of what had happened. Admiral Rodriguez called the meeting to order. "Commander Bennett," she said, "please brief us on Operation Trojan." Horse Olivia stepped forward, standing straight. Despite her exhaustion, the operation proceeded as planned. "Admiral," she began, "the Kral-Vorn responded exactly as we predicted. They saw our ship as primitive. They underestimated our capabilities. They attacked first, giving us the justification we needed." She described the battle in detail, explaining how the quantum displacement engine had performed, how the alien ships had reacted, how the command ship had been allowed to escape as a messenger. The officials listened intently, asking occasional questions. Catherine Walsh provided the scientific explanation of what had happened. The quantum field generated by the engine creates ripples in the fabric of spacetime, she explained. These ripples disrupt the molecular cohesion of anything they pass through. No conventional shield can block them because they affect the fundamental structure of matter itself. Susan Miller detailed the engineering aspects of the mission. The engine performed beyond specifications, she said. The power output was 30% higher than in our simulations. The cooling systems maintained optimal temperature throughout. The structural integrity of the containment chamber remained at 96%. When they finished, Admiral Rodriguez addressed the room. "What we have witnessed here changes everything," she said. "Humanity now possesses technology unlike anything seen before in the galaxy." The balance of power has shifted. One of the government officials, a woman named Carol Brown, raised a concern. "But what happens when the Kral-Vorn tell others about this?" We allowed their command ship to escape. They will spread the word that was part of the plan, said Olivia. We wanted them to tell others. We wanted the galaxy to know that Earth is not defenseless, that humans cannot be conquered easily. Another official spoke up, but won't that make us a target? Other species will want this technology. They will try to steal it or force us to share it. Admiral Rodriguez nodded. That is a risk we accepted when we developed Project Prometheus. But consider the alternative. The Kralvorn would have conquered Earth. They would have enslaved humanity. They would have taken all our technology anyway. At least now we have a chance. Now we have leverage. The meeting continued for hours as they discussed the implications of what had happened. Plans were made for the expansion of the project. More ships would be equipped with quantum displacement engines. A new defense strategy would be developed. Earth would prepare for the attention it would now receive from the rest of the galaxy. Throughout the debriefing, Olivia noticed something interesting. The attitude of the officials had changed. Before the mission, many had been skeptical. Some had opposed Project Prometheus, calling it a waste of resources. Now they spoke of it with reverence. Now they understood what Catherine and Susan had created. When the formal meeting ended, Admiral Rodriguez took Olivia aside. We need to talk about your next assignment, she said. Olivia raised an eyebrow. My next assignment? I thought I would remain with the Defiant. Don Rodriguez shook her head. We have bigger plans for you, Commander. Or should I say Captain Olivia? Blinked. Captain, yes, said Rodriguez. Your promotion is effective immediately. You will take command of our newest vessel. The Dawn was just the beginning. The prototype. We are building something bigger. Something that will ensure Earth's safety for generations to come. Olivia felt a mix of emotions. Pride at the promotion, sadness at leaving the Defiant Dawn, excitement about what would come next. The mission had changed her. She had seen what humanity was capable of. She had helped reshape the future. Later that evening, Olivia stood in the observation deck of the station looking down at Earth. She had not been home in months. The mission had required extensive preparation. The deception had needed to be perfect, every detail planned, but it had been worth it. Susan joined her, bringing 2 cups of coffee. They stood in companionable silence, watching their planet rotate slowly below them. Do you think they will come back? Asked Susan after a while. The Kralvorn asked Olivia. Not if they are smart, but others will come. Some to make peace, some to make war, some to trade. The galaxy knows about us now. We can no longer pretend to be just another primitive species, Susan nodded. Thoughtfully, I have been thinking about improvements to the engine, she said. There are ways to increase efficiency, ways to extend the field, possibilities we haven't explored yet. Olivia smiled. That was Susan, always looking forward, always seeing potential for improvement. What we did out there, she said. It changes everything, doesn't it? Not everything, replied Susan. Earth is still Earth. Humans are still humans. We still need to eat and sleep and live our lives. The difference is now we can do so without fear of conquest. Now we have a seat at the galactic table. Catherine joined them, carrying her own drink. The 3 women stood looking at the stars, each contemplating what they had accomplished and what lay ahead. Did you ever think, when you first developed the theory, asked Olivia, that it would lead to this? Catherine shook her head. Science rarely follows a straight path, she said. I wanted to understand the universe, to explore the nature of reality. I never imagined creating a weapon. It's not just a weapon, said Susan. It's a new form of propulsion, a new way to travel through space. The military applications are just the beginning. Think of the possibilities for exploration. Olivia nodded. The 3 women represented different perspectives, military, engineering, scientific, but they had worked together to create something revolutionary, something that would change humanity's place in the galaxy. The next day, preparations began for the next phase. Olivia was introduced to the plans for Earth's new flagship, a vessel that would incorporate all they had learned from the Defiant Dawn It would still maintain the appearance of simplicity on the outside, still use the strategy of deception, but inside, it would contain multiple quantum displacement engines. It would be capable of feats the Dawn could only dream of. Susan would lead the engineering team responsible for building the new engines. Catherine would continue to refine the theory, pushing the boundaries of what was possible, and Olivia would command the ship when it was complete. As they reviewed the plans, Admiral Rodriguez explained their new mission. The Kralvorn were just one species in a vast galaxy. She said, "Some will be friends, some will be enemies. We need to be prepared for both. We need to understand our place in the cosmic order." Olivia studied the designs for the new ship. It was larger than the Dawn, more powerful, but it maintained the same philosophy, strength hidden beneath apparent weakness, and the lesson of the Trojan horse applied to spacefaring vessels. "We have opened a door," said Admiral Rodriguez. "We cannot close it again. We can only move forward and hope we have the wisdom to use what we've created." Responsibly, Olivia thought about the battle, about the destruction they had caused, about the message they had sent to the galaxy. She hoped it had been the right decision. She hoped the price of peace would not be too high. Only time would tell. Susan Miller pressed the sequence of commands that would initiate the wide field displacement. The quantum displacement engine hummed loudly as it channeled energy, unlike anything humans had created before. The blue glow surrounding the Defiant. Dawn pulsed once, twice, 3 times. Then everything changed. The ship itself remained in place, but the space around it seemed to fold and unfold in impossible ways. The fabric of reality rippled outward from the vessel, creating waves of distorted space-time that spread in all directions. These waves passed through the Kralvorn ships like ghosts through walls, but unlike ghosts, they left destruction in their wake. From Earth observation stations, the battle appeared as a spectacular light show. Blue energy radiating outward from a single point, followed by the systematic disintegration of alien vessels. One by one, then dozens at a time, the Kralvorn ships began to break apart. Inside the alien vessels, panic spread. Their technology failed. As the quantum waves passed through, systems shut down, hulls lost structural integrity, weapons powered down. The mighty Kralvorn armada was being defeated, not by superior firepower, but by a fundamental attack on the laws of physics themselves. The Defiant Dawn. The crew watched in silence. What they were witnessing had never been seen before. A theory made real. A concept turned into a weapon. They had changed warfare forever. The quantum field stabilized at 70%, reported Catherine. "The displacement waves will continue for another 30 seconds. Olivia nodded. She felt no joy in the destruction, only grim satisfaction. The Kralvorn had threatened Earth. They had planned to conquer and enslave humanity. They had left no choice. Diane monitored the tactical display as alien ships disappeared from it. "Enemy vessels are being destroyed at an exponential rate," she said. "More than half the armada is already gone. The rest are trying to escape, but the quantum waves are faster." The ripples in space-time continued to spread, catching more alien vessels in their path. The effect was devastating. Ships caught in the distortion field broke apart as their molecular structures lost coherence. Those that escaped the immediate effect found their navigation and propulsion systems completely compromised. On the main screen, the Supreme Admiral's vessel appeared. The massive command ship was attempting to retreat, but the quantum waves were closing in. "Open a channel to the Supreme Admiral," said Olivia. Linda worked at her communication station. "Channel open, Commander," she said. The alien commander's face appeared on screen, his 4 yellow eyes wide with fear and confusion, his gray skin pale, almost white. "What manner of weapon is this?" he demanded. The previous arrogance in his voice replaced by panic. "How is this possible? Your ship appeared primitive." Olivia met his gaze calmly. "This is not a weapon, Admiral," she said. "This is simply what happens when you underestimate a species based on appearances. We designed our ship to look primitive. We wanted you to think we were weak. We wanted you to attack first. The alien commander struggled to understand how we scanned your vessel. We detected nothing unusual." Susan stepped forward beside Olivia. That was by design, she said. We built layers of conventional technology around our true systems. We knew your scans would only see what we wanted you to see. We studied your species for years. We knew your arrogance would be your downfall. Supreme Admiral looked at them with new understanding. Too late to help him or his fleet. You deceived us, he said. You threatened our planet, responded Olivia. You came to conquer. You left us no choice. Behind the Supreme Admiral, his crew worked frantically, trying to save their ship, but the quantum waves were already reaching them. The command vessel shuddered as systems began to fail. I offer surrender, said the Supreme Admiral quickly. Stop this attack and we will leave your system immediately. We will never return. Olivia considered this. The wide field displacement could not be stopped once initiated, but the command ship was on the edge of the effect. It might survive if they acted quickly. She looked to Catherine. Can we adjust the field to spare? The command ship. Catherine worked at her controls. Yes, Commander, but only if we do it now. The waves have nearly reached their maximum expansion. Diane spoke up from tactical. The command ship is the only vessel still intact. Commander, the rest of the armada has been destroyed or disabled. Olivia made her decision. Supreme Admiral, she said. We will allow your command ship to escape as a messenger. Return to your people. Tell them what happened here. Tell them Earth is not to be threatened again. Relief showed on the alien commander's face. We will leave immediately, he promised. The Kral Vorn will not return to this system. Catherine adjusted the quantum field, directing the waves away from the command ship. The massive vessel turned and accelerated. Away from Earth, leaving behind the debris that had once been their mighty Armada A's. The quantum field dissipated. The blue glow around the defiant dawn faded. The ship returned to its normal appearance, dense and all. The hull damage from earlier attacks was real enough. The outer layers had been designed to take damage to complete the illusion of weakness. Quantum field disengaged. Reported Susan engine cooling sequence initiated. Diane looked up from her tactical station. The Supreme Admiral's ship is leaving our system at maximum speed. The rest of the Armada. All vessels have been neutralized. A cheer went up from the crew. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. They had protected Earth. They had changed the balance of power in the galaxy. Olivia did not join the celebration. She stood looking at the debris field that surrounded them. The cost of war was always high. Even when victory was achieved, she had hoped diplomacy might work. But the Kral Vorn had chosen conflict. They had paid the price for their arrogance. Susan approached her commander. She said quietly, "The quantum displacement engine performed beyond our expectations. The field strength was 30% greater than in our simulations. We have changed everything." Olivia nodded. "The technology we have created here. It can never be undone. Other species will learn of it. They will fear us, or they will try to steal it. Either way, the galaxy will never be the same." Catherine joined them. The three women looked out at the stars, each lost in her own thoughts about what they had done and what would come next. "Send a message to Earth," Command said Olivia to Linda. "Tell them Operation Trojan Horse was successful. The Kral Vorn threat has been neutralized. Request permission to return home." As Linda sent the message, the crew of the Defiant Dawn began the process of checking systems and preparing for the journey back to Earth. They had won a great victory, but they all knew this was just the beginning. The ship's medical bay, Dr. Amy Wilson treated the few injuries the crew had sustained during the battle. Most were minor cuts and bruises from when the ship had been hit by the initial alien attacks. The Defiant Dawn's deception had been so complete that the Kral Vorn had never used their full weapons capability. They had never seen the need. Amy finished treating a young crew member and checked her medical display. The ship had taken damage, but the important systems were intact. The quantum displacement engine showed no signs of instability, a concern the scientist had worried about. The human vessel that looked so primitive on the outside had proven to be the most advanced ship in the battle. Back on the bridge, Olivia received confirmation from Earth Command. They were ordered to return immediately. The leaders of Earth wanted to hear firsthand what had happened. Fleet Admiral Maya Rodriguez herself would meet them. When they arrived, Mary Wilson set course for Earth. The Defiant Dawn turned away from the battlefield, moving at conventional speed. No need for quantum displacement now. They had all the time they needed as they traveled. Olivia gathered her senior staff in the conference room. They needed to prepare their reports. They needed to explain what they had witnessed and what it meant for the future. "The quantum displacement engine changes everything," said Catherine. "It gives us capabilities no other species has demonstrated. We can move through space in ways thought impossible. We can create weapons that cannot be defended against, and that makes us targets," said Olivia. "Every species in the galaxy will either fear us or want what we have. Either way, Earth must be prepared." Susan nodded thoughtfully. "This was just one ship," she said, "one engine. Imagine what a fleet could do." The women fell silent, contemplating the implications. They had created something revolutionary, something that would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. The Defiant Dawn continued, its journey home carrying with it a technology that would change everything. The shots from the Kralvorn fighters streaked through space, glowing green against the blackness. They hit the outer hull of the Defiant Dawn, creating small explosions that rocked the ship. The crew held tight to their stations as the vessel shook. "These are just warning shots," said Diane from the tactical station. "They are not even using their main weapons. They are playing with us." Olivia nodded. "They think this is a game. Let them enjoy their moment of superiority. It will not last long." Deep within, the ship Susan Miller and her engineering team worked at the heart of the vessel, where a device about the size of a refrigerator hummed quietly. This was the quantum displacement engine, the secret heart of Project Prometheus. It looked simple, almost primitive, but it contained technology beyond anything the aliens could imagine. "The engine is at 87% capacity," Susan reported through her communication device. "We can activate the field in 3 minutes. 3 minutes is all we need," said Olivia. She watched as more alien fighters approached. They moved with grace, their formations perfect. They clearly expected no resistance. Diane continued to monitor the enemy ships from her tactical station. "They are deploying in standard attack. Formation, Commander. Their energy readings show they are using minimal power. They do not see us as a threat." "Good," said Olivia. "That gives us the advantage." She turned to Catherine Walsh. The physicist was monitoring her own set of instruments, keeping track of the quantum field that would soon envelop the ship. "Will it work?" Catherine asked Olivia quietly. "We have tested it in simulations, but never in actual combat." Catherine looked up from her station, her eyes serious but confident. "The math is sound, Commander. The principles are correct. The field will work as designed. I stake my reputation on it." Olivia nodded. That was good enough for her. Catherine Walsh was the brightest mind in quantum physics. Her theories had revolutionized human understanding of space and time. The quantum displacement engine was her creation, her life work. Another blast rocked the ship, this one stronger than before. "They are getting impatient," said Diane. "They want us to surrender." "Let them wait," said Olivia. "We need the engine at full power." The minutes passed slowly. The alien ships continued to circle the Defiant Dawn like predators toying with their prey. They fired occasional shots, testing the human vessels, defenses looking for weaknesses. They found many. The outer hull of the ship showed damage. Metal plates tore away, revealing the structure beneath. The ship appeared to be falling apart. The Kralvorn Supreme Admiral appeared on the screen again. His yellow eyes showed amusement. "Your vessel is failing, Commander." "Bennett," he said. "Surrender now and we will spare your crew. Continue this foolish resistance and you will all die." Olivia met his gaze without flinching. "We appreciate your concern, Supreme Admiral. But we are not done yet." The alien commander laughed. "Again, you humans are entertaining, I will give you that. Your bravery in the face of certain defeat is almost admirable. Perhaps we will keep some of you as pets." The screen went dark again. "Engine status?" asked Olivia. 98%, replied Susan. "Just another 30 seconds. The Defiant Dawn rocked again as more shots hit the hull. Alarms sounded throughout the ship. Warning lights flashed on the bridge. The vessel appeared to be in serious trouble. Hull breach on deck. 3 reported Diane emergency. Systems responding, perfect timing, said Olivia. Let them think we are crippled. On the main screen, they could see the Krall-Vorn fighters moving in for the kill. They clearly believed the human ship was defeated, their weapons powered up for the final blow. Catherine looked up from her station. The quantum field is ready, Commander. When activated, it will create a displacement wave that will ripple outward from our ship. The effect will last for approximately 42 seconds. During that time, the helmsman must navigate with extreme precision. Mary Wilson. The pilot nodded. I am ready, she said. Her hands hovered over the controls. The alien ships closed in. Their weapons glowed with power. They prepared to fire the shots that would destroy the Defiant Dawn now, said Olivia. Susan Miller activated the quantum displacement engine. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then slowly a soft blue glow began to emanate from the Defiant Dawn. The glow intensified, quickly becoming a bright blue light that surrounded the ship. The space around the vessel appeared to bend and warp. Light distorted around the hull, creating strange patterns on the Krall-Vorn command ship. Supreme Admiral Zex Tur leaned forward in confusion. What is happening? He demanded. Scan that vessel again. But before his technicians could comply, the Defiant Dawn simply vanished. It disappeared completely from the battlefield, leaving the alien fighters firing at empty space. 1 second passed, 2, 3. The Defiant Dawn reappeared. Behind the first wave of Krall-Vorn fighters, quantum displacement successful, reported Susan. Her voice was steady, despite the incredible feat they had just performed. Engine cooling systems functioning within parameters. The alien ships scrambled to adjust. They had not expected the human vessel to move. They certainly had not expected it to teleport. They tried to turn to face the new threat. But they were too slow. Now, Mary, said Olivia. The pilot engaged the ship's systems, creating another quantum displacement. The Defiant Dawn vanished again, only to reappear seconds later in a different position. Each time the ship disappeared and reappeared, it left behind a wake of distorted space, a ripple in the fabric of reality itself. These ripples tore through the alien vessels with devastating effect. The quantum displacement engine didn't just move the ship. It created distortions in spacetime that disrupted the molecular structure of anything caught in their path. No shields could defend against this. It wasn't a weapon in the traditional sense. It was a manipulation of the fundamental laws of physics. Alien fighters began to break apart their hulls, tearing as if invisible forces pulled them in different directions. The Krall-Vorn had never seen anything like this. They had no defense against it, their advanced technology, their powerful weapons, all useless against this incomprehensible attack. The Defiant Dawn continued to jump from position to position, appearing and disappearing across the battlefield. Each jump precisely calculated, each ripple carefully aimed. The ship that had appeared primitive and weak was now revealing its true nature. They are attempting to regroup, reported Diane. Their command ship is signaling a retreat. Olivia stood from her chair, her expression resolute. They don't get to retreat, not after they threatened Earth, not after they called us primitive, not after they planned to make us pets. Lieutenant Miller, prepare for wide field displacement. Susan nodded, understanding what the commander was asking for. This would be their most powerful move yet. The one they had hoped they would not need to use. The quantum displacement engine powered up again. The blue glow around the ship intensified, becoming almost blinding. The crew secured themselves, preparing for what would come next. The Defiant Dawn positioned itself at the perfect focal point within the alien formation. From this position, the quantum field would have maximum effect. Catherine Walsh monitored the readings on her station. Commander, the field is at maximum capacity, she said. We are ready for wide field displacement. Olivia looked at the alien armada one last time. They had come to conquer Earth. They had laughed at humanity's technology. They had underestimated what humans were capable of. They were about to learn their mistake. Initiate wide field displacement, now said Olivia. Commander Olivia Bennett stood on the bridge of the Defiant Dawn and looked at the screen in front of her. The ship felt small compared to what she saw out there. The alien ships were huge and shiny. They seemed to bend light around them, making them look like they were made of pure energy. Her own ship looked plain and simple in comparison with visible metal plates and basic design. The aliens had arrived 3 days ago. Their message was clear: surrender or die. They called themselves the Kralvorn, and their ships formed an armada that stretched as far as the eye could see. Olivia took a deep breath and straightened her uniform. She had been chosen to lead this mission because she never backed down from a challenge. Even now, as the alien commander appeared on the screen with his gray skin and 4 yellow eyes, she kept her face calm and professional. The alien called himself Supreme Admiral Zex Tour. His mouth curved into what might have been a smile, though it looked more like a sneer to human eyes. "You send this heap of metal to meet the might of the Kralvorn Armada," he said. His voice came through the translator with a metallic echo. "We expected more from the species that claims to have mastered fusion power. This vessel looks like it belongs in a museum." Next to Olivia, Lieutenant Susan Miller, the chief engineer of the Defiant Dawn, clenched her fists. Susan had designed much of the ship herself and took pride in her work. She knew better than anyone what the ship could really do. Olivia responded with care, choosing her words for maximum effect. "We appreciate your concern for our technological development, Supreme Admiral. Our vessel may not look impressive by your standards, but it serves our needs." She could see the alien was not impressed. The 4 yellow eyes blinked in sequence and the gray face showed what seemed like pity. "You humans are either very brave or very foolish," said Zex Tour. "Perhaps both. Our scans show your weapons are basic, your shields minimal. We could destroy your vessel with a single shot from our smallest fighter." Olivia nodded as if considering this information. "We understand the difference in our technologies, Supreme Admiral. We came to talk, not to fight. Surely advanced beings, such as yourselves, value diplomacy." The alien commander laughed. The sound was harsh, like stones grinding together. "We value strength, Commander Bennett. The strong survive. The weak perish. That is the law of the universe. You have 1 Earth rotation to surrender your planet, or we will demonstrate our strength." The screen went dark as the transmission ended. Olivia turned to her crew. They had all been selected for this mission because of their skills and their ability to stay calm under pressure. Each person on the bridge knew what was at stake. Susan Miller stepped forward. "Commander, the engine is ready whenever you give the word." She spoke quietly so only Olivia could hear. "We can activate Project Prometheus at any time." Olivia nodded. The Defiant Dawn looked simple from the outside, but inside it carried humanity's most secret weapon. Susan had helped develop the technology that was hidden beneath layers of conventional systems. The aliens had no idea what the ship could really do. Diane Foster, the tactical officer, looked up from her station. "They are positioning their ships in attack formation, Commander. They seem very confident." "Of course they are," said Olivia. "They think we are weak." "That is exactly what we wanted them to think." She walked to the center of the bridge and addressed her crew. "The Kralvorn believe they have encountered a primitive species easy to conquer. They see our ship and think we are no threat. This is our advantage. Never underestimate the power of being underestimated." The crew nodded. Some even smiled. They had trained for months for this mission. They knew what was coming. Olivia turned to her communications officer, Linda Green. "Send the coded message to Earth Command. Tell them Operation Trojan Horse is now active." Linda sent the message while Olivia returned to the main screen, watching as the alien ships moved into position. Their formation was perfect. Each ship knew its place. They had clearly done this many times before, conquering worlds and adding them to their empire. Catherine Walsh, the quantum physicist who had developed the theory behind Project Prometheus, came to stand beside Olivia. She spoke quietly. "Remember, Commander, once we activate the system, there is no going back. The technology has never been tested in actual combat." "I know the risk," said Olivia. "We all do. But the alternative is watching Earth fall to these invaders." She looked at the alien armada again, so confident in their superiority. If they want a demonstration of strength, we will give them one they will never forget. She sat in the command chair and secured her safety harness. The rest of the crew did the same. They all knew what was coming. All stations' reports said. Olivia Engineering ready said. Susan. Tactical ready said. Diane Navigation ready said the pilot. Mary Wilson Communications ready said Linda. Science ready said Catherine. Olivia took one last look at the alien armada through the view screen. They thought the Defiant Dawn was primitive. They thought humans were weak. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Prepare to initiate the Prometheus Protocol, said Olivia. Let them fire first. We need them to believe they have won. Then we show them what humans are truly capable of. The bridge grew quiet as they waited. The Kralvorn would make the first move. They always did. Their arrogance would be their downfall. The first shots from the alien ships flashed across space, heading toward the Defiant. Dawn, it has begun, said Olivia. Now we show them that appearances can be deceiving.